I think that generally, like, the more we go on, I find that I'm fitting out of this family more and more. It's so hard for me to.
Hello, namaste. Welcome to the Zarna Garg family podcast. So excited to have all 5 Gargs in the house. Woot! Today's episode is going to make you angry. It's going to make you cry. And it's going to make you feel like, why don't other people agree with me? Because there are so many strong feelings about this. Let's get right into it. Let me introduce the family immediately. My husband of 26 years, Wall Street veteran, Shalab Garg. My daughter just graduated college, Zoya Garg. My son who just started college, Brij Garg. My middle schooler, Veer Garg. Let's get into it. Do we as a family believe in therapy?
Oh my God, we can do a therapy things, and I don't want to do a
No,
therapy.
we're talking about whether or not we believe in therapy as a thing.
Okay.
Like, we're not doing a therapy set. I mean, why are you reacting so much? Nothing's happened.
It's really scary when you start down the thing of therapy,
Why?
Okay,
What's
well,
so scary about it?
Therapy does not work. That's my thing. I do not believe in therapy. From what I've heard, I actually don't have I can't be speaking necessarily because I've never done a therapy session. But from what I've heard,
I haven't either, Veer. You and me together.
Baya has been in a therapy session, and from what I've heard from him, it sounds very.
Listen, the fact is, therapy is effective. That is a fact. If you look at statistics, you look at any of the studies, it is factual and proven that therapy will help
statistics,
with mental
Brij?
health.
Did you create
Any of them?
statistics?
There's studies all the time. Studies are taken every single year about therapy and the effects of therapy. According to the studies and science, therapy does work. Now, personally, I do not believe therapy works because they're saying something magical that makes people feel like empowered or something. I believe therapy works because of the placebo effect in which you are going to see a doctor.
You decide to just steal all my ideas.
Uh-huh.
I said this to them 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I brought this up.
Listen,
What's the placebo thing?
Here, first point, regardless of how it works, regardless of why it works because studies prove it works, is my first point. My second point is that I personally believe it works because I think that people like talking to professionals. They like talking to sometimes doctors, especially if they're psychiatrists. They like talking to different types of people with authority because that makes them feel like they're doing something proactive to help themselves. And as a result of that, they start feeling better about their mental health and just health generally.
So why not just talk to ChatGPT?
I think you should. I see people all the time.
I want to follow up on Bridget's
about
point.
college.
What is the problem with then paying for somebody who's your accountability buddy?
There isn't.
What?
I have no problem with
Accountability
it.
buddy? What does that mean?
Okay, well, the problem is that it's so.
Wait, can you explain? I think that's a cool concept. Can you explain what an accountability buddy is? Because many people have them in many different studies.
So they do?
Like if you're an addict,
Yeah.
you have an addict buddy.
That's a job. People get paid for this?
Half of the tutoring industry, especially for young kids, is literally just accountability buddies. Just tutors that are there to make sure that the kids do the work they're supposed to.
Listen,
Or my gym instructor, she's there to make me accountable.
Yeah, it's an account. She's not doing anything new.
there are a lot of studies that suggest that willpower isn't enough to get somebody to meaningfully change a habit. Habits take a long time to build and create, and a lot of people need assistance in creating those habits. So Brij was saying tutors are a great example for kids. A lot of kids just can't sit down to do the homework if there's not somebody watching over them. In that same vein, a therapist in many ways is just somebody you're paying to actually confront and deal with your feelings head on. Now, there are many other therapists who are specialized and more expensive so they can help you work through maybe more intense experiences. For example, if you were in a war, there's a specific type of therapist for that. Or if you lost a family member, there's a specific type of therapist for
Zoya,
that.
this actually I could get behind the way you're describing the role.
But that's
of a
what it
therapist.
is. And that's
But
why
I don't like the psychiatrists who are in the business of underwriting medicine. I actually am behind getting a therapist. I'm trying to make the distinction between a therapist and a psychiatrist.
Okay, so
Which-
what is that distinction? Can
To
you
me,
explain?
a psychiatrist is someone who underwrites medicine, whose only job is to basically get paid out of the pharmaceutical industry behind what are essentially a way to describe drugs, who will just numb
There
your
are
senses.
real mental illnesses. There are real mental situations that are solved by medication. That is a thing. But I do agree with you that it does feel like people abuse it. That's what the issue is. Every condition exists. No one's denying that. but it feels like people run rampant with it, and like that becomes the first line of defense, and that's when it's problematic, I think.
So
I
my
think that the
pushback to
idea of a
your
therapist is a much better one than of a psychiatrist, because therapist clearly is not a medical doctor from the how Zoya and Brij
most of
describe
them,
that person, because that
some of
person
them
is
are.
more a so they don't have the ability to prescribe you medicine. They can only act as accountability therapist, as the two of them describe, to deal with a specific issue. And that actually, I see that role
I
as the same as a gym instructor or a
Yeah,
a tutor or any of these roles that they described. Actually, I think that those I can get
that's
behind.
my push. That's exactly what my pushback to mom is. Why are we drawing the line at therapy? For example, we all do things that are similar for some sort of accountability or to make ourselves feel better. For example, Didi buys coffee every single morning because she likes the
matcha.
aroma, because she likes being in a coffee shop or she likes drinking coffee. Mom, you pay for all of your own Netflix, Hulu subscriptions to
That's
everything
right.
away from the
That's right.
family because you feel it gives you more of a sense of stability and understanding without having to deal with stress. So why draw the line at therapy even though you both abuse different subscriptions to different things?
It's not abuse. What do you mean abuse? Like, whoa. No one is abusing anything. It's just, listen, we all believe in different things. I do believe in making your life easier, but I don't believe in paying other people. The problem I see with therapy is that it needs to become a revenue model for them, a consistent revenue model for them, for it to make some sense as a business, right? So they don't really have an incentive in helping you see the light and move on with your life. Their entire business hinges on getting a
I
client
agree with
and
that.
keeping that
Yeah,
client.
like a gym
But so,
instructor. So never
but like
get
a
you in
gym
shape.
instructor, yeah, it's
So
the
never
same
get
thing
you
as
in
everything
shape.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the therapy comes with this whole emotional codependency where you like the gym instructor, there's 5 other instructors that you could work with in any gym, right?
Hmm.
The therapy, because it's a one-on-one relationship, it becomes this emotional codependency that you
I
then,
okay.
mean,
yes.
I feel like okay. First of all, I feel frustrated already in this episode because Brij is acting as if he's always been so pro therapy, and I'm really confused where this
how
new
does that make you
angle.
frustrated to see
No,
myself, my opinions
because
change?
because you're being dishonest.
How am I being
You were
dishonest?
so unsupportive. I'm the
Zoya, does
only
this have
person
anything
in
to do
this
with the fight
family.
that was happening between you and Brij last night and being
No,
played up?
even though we did get yes, you know what? Let's talk about that in a second. Let's talk about that in a second.
How does
No,
that
because
relate
that
to
is a part of
therapy?
the conversation.
Are you
Now,
kidding me?
no, I'm gonna tie all my points together. I'm just like a lawyer, just like mom. So
Oh my god.
basically, first
You
of
didn't
all,
go to law
I
school.
am the only person. I got a classics degree. That's better.
I
I
agree with
am
that.
the only.
Oh, how did I catch a stray?
I am the only person in this family that has done therapy. Correct or no?
No,
No,
incorrect.
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 I've done
You're
therapy.
wrong. Yeah.
What you guys have paid for a therapist, a
I have
professional
paid for a
therapist,
therapist, a professional therapist.
I've
but
done
for
ChatGPT
multiple
therapy.
sessions.
I have
So-
done 2 sessions.
Yeah,
Okay,
Bridge, yeah,
Bridge,
okay.
And
that
I have
does
done
not
therapy
count.
with my mother.
That does not count either.
Oh,
And your
your
ChatGPT
oh.
therapy does not count in this circumstance. Now, we're going to talk about ChatGPT therapy in a second. I am the only person in this family who has paid for therapy on a consistent basis and did so for over a year, where I met with a woman every other week. I needed that one-on-one time with somebody. At that point in my life, mom's career was taking off and she did not have time to emotionally support me. My dad has never
Wow.
been emotionally supportive. Brij
Wow.
and Veer, Brij was trying to get into college at this point, and Veer was too little to talk about this stuff, like in a more serious way. Now, it was a selfless thing for me to do. Genuinely, it was selfless, and I will die on this hill that instead of actually burdening you guys with my emotional baggage, I worked with somebody else to deal with it. Now, what did happen at the end of this relationship, which I do and will admit, is I did feel like it was very hard for me to sever the relationship when I no longer needed her. I felt like she did want to keep me as a client for months longer than I actually needed. I don't think that makes her a bad person, but I do think the incentives of a therapist and a business woman they're misaligned, right? Because ultimately that professional needs to make money. So mom is not incorrect. I did feel that way, but also I did improve my mental health significantly by working with this woman.
Yes.
Interesting. And
And
now tell us.
I think.
Wait, okay, hold on.
Okay, go
Pause.
ahead.
You
Oh,
didn't
and let's
express-
talk about the fight
Yeah,
as well.
No. Okay, guys, we can talk about the fight because I know you guys want to talk about it so much, but that is completely irrelevant to this topic, and I think we should save that for like a different. If you guys want to hear about the fight, put it in the comment section because in all seriousness, that is completely irrelevant to the topic today. Like we just want to talk about it because it happened and we always talk about it.
No.
It's not
It's
relevant.
very relevant. I could explain. So basically, we had 4 sold out shows in New York City. Mom
9.
did. 4 days.
3
4
in one day.
Yeah, 4 days of sold out shows. There were 9 shows in total. And Mom's sold out shows, after all of the shows, we do merch stands where we do pop-ups and we sell books and sweatshirts, etc. And we all have been working a lot, really hard that whole weekend. We all being me, Brij, Veer, and the rest of our team. Now, all of these materials are very heavy, right? Like books and sweatshirts, it's like backbreaking work that all of us were trying to stay organized and stay calm and actually get everything in one piece. Not to mention people brought gifts, people did all sorts of things, right? So we had lots of stuff to carry. Brij insinuated at the end of the night, he screamed at me that I hadn't done any work and that I should do all the work for the rest of the night.
Okay.
And it
hold
was
on.
very disrespectful.
Can I wait? Hold on. I was the only innocent bystander here, so I want to explain what.
But you're not an
actually
innocent
happened.
bystander because you were also supposed to be part of that situation.
But
Can you
I
explain
saw-
yours? Okay.
I saw
sorry,
what
I didn't mean to
happened.
cut you off. Can you explain your position from start to finish?
Okay, I saw what happened from an unbiased perspective because I had no reason to side with either side. So basically, at the comedy show when we were packing up the stuff, okay, you might have or might have not helped pack up the things, but from Baya's perspective, he didn't see any of that. From what he saw, so all he's going off is what he saw, not what other
But
people.
also,
not what
why
told
would
him.
you assume that okay, this is the thing. This is why this relates to therapy. Why would you assume? It felt like you were trying to get me. Like you were trying to get me, and instead of just assuming, okay, Zoya's been here this whole weekend working and doing all this other stuff with us. She's definitely helping in some way or another. Maybe she's not carrying the ginormous suitcase that other men in this family can carry, but she's carrying up boxes of books one at a time. Why would you make that assumption? And that assumption is the reason why we need therapy. Because unlike you, I can talk about my
Crazy
feelings.
stretch.
I can talk about my
This is an
feelings without just
insane
screaming at my
I
sister.
know you guys love talking about fights, and I know Mom is secretly smiling within her skin right now because she loves
I'm
that
not
this is
at all.
happening.
What are you
But-
talking about?
but-
I'm like
but-
watching
We can
it,
hear the
stressed
glee
out.
in
What
your
is going on?
sound.
No,
I'm
I
stressed
saw you
out that
smile.
when did my kids become the kids where they're like, you did this and I did this? That is not even how our family operates
It's
at all.
not. So I was so
Okay,
that's what
surprised.
I
and
I was so
thrown
surprised.
back.
I have
But
some
Brij,
hunch on who is
you-
influencing
that's the
Bridget's
question.
So
mind
hold on, no,
lately.
wait, hold on. I haven't even made my stance yet. I haven't even been able to say a single thing, my perspective on the story or
Okay.
anything. First, I have 2 questions for both Didi and Veer. Veer, what did you do?
I did nothing. No, hold on. I did nothing. From the comedy club to the car, I did nothing. But from the car to our house, I unpacked all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Somebody's help.
Okay, but whose help?
With the driver's help.
Okay, but
And
okay,
Didi.
so interesting. But okay. Now, Didi, you said there's other men in the family to carry the heavy bags up. I'm just curious. Is that something that you believe that men should be the one doing the heavy lifting?
It's back to school season, and you know what that means? That means stressing about your middle schooler, your high schooler. How are they going to get into college? How much work is involved? What is the essay about? What kind of experiences do they want? I've been through it twice. This is a confusing process, and believe me, everybody you know is using a college counselor. I did one too. If you want to get your kids into college, a top college like Harvard, Stanford, Yale, or any of these top programs anywhere in America, you need a proper guide, and that's why I'm such a fan of college shortcuts. An Indian lady, Neha Gupta, who is herself a graduate of UPenn and Rice University, has created this program that is going to hold your hand through every process. It's a 24/7 available program. You have questions, she's got answers. And College Shortcuts has created such a good deal for the Zarna Garg family podcast. If you have a student between 7th and 12th grade, please do not wait. Jump on this right now. College Shortcuts is offering a free 1-hour consultation call and a special scholarship for our listeners and viewers when you mention the code Zarna. Go to collegeshortcuts.com right now to set up your call today. She's ready. She's waiting to help you, Neha Gupta. That's collegeshortcuts.com. Mention Zarna. and you will get a great call. You will get somebody who understands your anxiety and who's going to walk you through this process herself. Do not delay.
Now, Didi, you said there's other men in the family to carry the heavy bags up. I'm just curious, is that something that you believe that men should be the one doing the heavy lifting? Just curious. Before I get into my next point.
I am a 5 foot tall, 100-pound
I'm
Indian
just
girl.
curious.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
making a
I just
point.
want no,
I'm just
because I can see
curious.
where this point is going. Did you expect? Did you expect that the other 5 foot tall women, in fact, many of us on our team are tiny women. Did you expect us to carry the
No,
ginormous suitcases
absolutely
of books?
not.
Because that is what I'm hearing
Absolutely
in your voice
not.
right now. Instead of carrying all
I'm
that
just
stuff,
curious. I've just never heard you admit something like that before. That's it. Okay. Other than that,
do you see the passive aggressive nature?
How
in his
is that
voice?
passive
I don't see any
aggressiveness?
passive aggressive.
Yeah,
She had never ever said
How
that
is
in the
passive
history of
aggressive?
knowing
You
her.
really have never, because when it suits you, you are the strongest, ginormous,
Yeah.
muscular woman
No,
that
no,
ever
no. Hold
existed.
on. Okay.
I'm
okay,
actually
okay.
so frustrated right now.
Like,
This is
guys,
exactly
I
why
still
we
haven't
fought.
got into my stance.
No,
Dress
because
for
Bridge,
the
the fact
event,
that you asked
are
this
guys.
question,
You guys
is-
work out all the time. All three of you men in this house work out all the time. This
Okay,
should not
so-
even be
okay,
a question.
Baya did
I
not
don't
ask
care
a
what she's
ridiculous
ever
question.
said or not said and what anybody has said.
I mean,
You
yes,
gotta
I do
jump
agree
in
that Bridge should
and
just
do the
pick things
physical
up.
work. I mean,
And what's
why
upsetting
weren't
to
you
me-
there, Shalab, helping with the boxes?
I wasn't there. I just didn't. I had come back home. I
Yeah,
had no
well,
idea.
now you know you should be there. Like, what is this? Why should the women be lifting? She can't be talking to every single person. She can't be looking pretty. She's in a dress. Like, there is, I don't care what she says and who believes what.
Okay, so
the
then
men
Baya
have to
asked-
jump in.
No,
Baya
and then you
asked-
know what?
Can
you
I
wanna
make
know
my-
what?
okay.
No. I'm gonna finish my point really quickly, and then I'll let you go. What's so disrespectful about this whole conversation, and what was so disrespectful about that fight, is it feels like if I gave you video footage of what actually happened last night and what I carried, like, you need that evidence to even believe me. I carried the big Fresh Direct bag that me and other people helped pack by myself. That was a ginormous bag filled with literally at least 60 books. 60 hardcover books. Did you know about that? Probably not. I carried that up the stairs. I did a bunch of those little boxes of books, each at least 20 pounds each. I did do multiple big packages. And even if I didn't, if you had said at the end of the night, Didi, I don't want to unpack into the lobby. We don't have our whole team here. You and Veer, can you guys do it? I'm really tired. I would be like, I completely understand that. Bridge is tired. I
would
am
not
going
have
to
been like
unpack.
that,
It's such a
You're
lie.
I would be like,
It's
You're
such a,
No, completely
lie.
understand.
But Bridge, I do
haven't
want to
even
hear
made a
from
point.
you. I want to hear from you.
Because this is insane.
I
Okay.
don't want to hear from you.
Okay, just hold on.
Okay.
Yes, Bridge.
First
go.
thing I will say is that 100% I concede at the end. I should have been more polite with the way I ask you to do the work at the end. 100%. I apologize to you for that later. At the end, so the audience knows, I should have been nicer when admitting to her that I didn't think she'd put in enough work compared to the rest of us, and I believe she should have unpacked the car. Or because unpacking the car is not a heavy lifting job, by the way. It's just moving one thing to a cart.
No, but
So-
it's still work. Like you don't
You
get to
weren't
decide what's heavy
there.
lifting and not heavy lifting. Every job is a job. Like that's
Yes.
just what it is.
Every job is a job. Agreed.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
is
fine.
easier than
I
packing
can't
the
even.
car,
Okay,
though.
you know. Why don't you guys talk? Why don't
No.
you guys talk?
No, Bridge, finish your thought.
I don't want to finish my thought because I can't get through 2 sentences without either Didi or you interrupting
I
me.
just agree
I
with you.
can't even get through a
I
point.
just said that
I
you.
can't. I
I
was
just agree with
apologizing and I
you.
can't get through a point. No, I don't want to speak anymore. You guys tell me what happened.
Why do you do this? That's such a You did the same thing during Monopoly Deal yesterday. You're so manipulative. Like you were like, no, give her the properties. Go ahead and finish your point. You
I'm
got
not
the
going
fact
ahead
that-
and finishing. Do you know how disrespectful it is that I can't get a sentence out without both the women in my family interrupting me? Mom wasn't even there and she's interrupting me. I cannot get a sentence out.
All right,
5
all right.
times now
You
I've tried
have
to
the
speak.
floor. You have the floor. Why don't you speak?
Finish your point. Yeah.
Okay. My second point was, let's talk about the job. This is my perspective. Here were the responsibilities due. First responsibility was taking the sweatshirts and putting it in a suitcase, in many suitcases and many bags, and then folding them, distinguishing by size what sweatshirt goes into which bag, and then bringing them all up into the car. Just for some clarity, I do not expect Didi to do any of the hard lifting if she doesn't want to. I only am surprised by what she said because normally she's very strong and she's normally very adamant about using her strength in that circumstance. That's all I was surprised about. Then my second point is that was the first responsibility. The second responsibility is taking the books that we didn't sell, packing them up, and then bringing them to the car. In this situation, there were 2 stacks of books. She 100% took one of the stacks of books, packed it, and brought it up to the car. 100% without doubt did that. Now, for the rest of the responsibilities, when I was downstairs, I did not see her come back downstairs and help pack up. I did not see her help distinguish the sweatshirts at all. In fact, the first thing she said during the event was, I am better with the books. Let me do that. Which at a fault is already 10 times easier than doing the sweatshirts because you have to fold, distinguish, and pack all the sweatshirts individually. That is much more difficult than the books, which is a very
Brij,
simple task.
do you want me to tell you you did more work?
Can I just get through my point? This
Because
is insane. I can't even speak. Like, am I just crazy, or is anyone else like seeing this? I cannot speak.
Okay, continue, Brij. Finish your point.
Okay.
You were saying that it's harder to differentiate the sweatshirts.
It is harder to differentiate the sweatshirts and pack them up and bring them up compared to the books, in which she did 1 out of 2 stacks. Now
I did
gets
not
to
do the
next-
sweatshirts. I did not do the sweatshirts. I said
can't
multiple
speak.
times.
I actually can't speak.
But I'm
Okay,
giving
Brij,
you
calm
what you
down, Vita.
want.
It's
Calm
just
down.
hard.
I cannot get through a point. I can't get through a sentence. How is this a podcast where we're supposed to speak to each other if I cannot speak? Yes, I am frustrated because I can't speak.
All right, continue.
Do I ever cut any of you guys off like this every single time you try to make a monologue? No. Okay, let me finish my point. There's 2 stacks of books. The first stack of books, she definitely packed up and brought up to the car. The second stacks of the books, she did not do that because I did it. I know for a fact she didn't because I did it after. Then with the rest of the sweatshirts, with help, we all did it. We collectively packed it up. We helped move it from room to room, get it ready, and I brought up most of the bags to the car. Not complaining about any of that. She shouldn't do the hard lifting if she doesn't want to. But that doesn't mean that she can check out from the job when everyone else is doing it because she is done with her responsibilities. She can help in other ways. For example, and this is another fact, she was the first one to sit in the car when we were done. The first one to sit in the car when we were done. She had Veer go in. Instead of me going in, I went down to do a double check of the room to make sure I didn't forget anything. In fact, we were playing a board game and we did forget the cards in which the deck was, in which the case of the cards were in her bag. She had the bag with the cards. It should have been her responsibility, in my opinion. It's fine that it wasn't, but I did the double check. I'm the one who went back downstairs to make sure that nothing else was there. Then some other people did more double checks, but I was the one who went back down into the war room and did what I had to do. While she was in the front seat working on her Instagram story, which is work. Undeniably, that is work. And it's not like she was being lazy, but she's not contributing towards the group effort. The group had a job to do, and she left the job before anyone else was finished. 100% that's what happened.
I don't even know if we can include this in this episode because our producer who was in the war room with me just wrote, Zoya, you better bring up there were 500 books in the green room that you packaged into the boxes yourself. And she saw it.
500 books.
Brij, you believe you did a lot of work yesterday. You did more work than me. I did not do the sweatshirts. You helped carry up multiple boxes. You were not in and around every single process that was involved in packing up and bringing up all of the items upstairs. I'm so surprised, genuinely, I'm very surprised that you are making this so much about what you saw and what your narrative was because you couldn't have possibly seen everything that happened last night because it was so complicated. Hold on. Because I actually have literally an eyewitness account of somebody who saw that there were 500, all of those boxes that you carried up. How did those books get back into the boxes? Do you know how many books were out of the boxes that we stuffed ourselves? And you might think, oh, that's so easy. They fit perfectly. It takes literally 10 minutes to put books in the boxes because they're so well organized in some specific manner. I'm not making this up. I wouldn't make this up. I'm Brij. If you want me to say once again, you did more work, it's fine. But I just want you to know that this game that you're playing, where it's like, I did this and I saw you do this and I saw this, like, and you're like, oh, and you were working on your Instagram story in the car. Like, when did we become a family where it was like, you had to itemize everything that I did and what you saw I did? No, you're getting frustrated because I'm right. I'm getting frustrated because I'm right.
First of all, if we're bringing the podcast producer into this, she's an incredible person, but she is 100% biased towards you, undoubtedly biased towards you.
She would be the first one to call me out on not doing work. She
That is
calls
not
everybody
true.
out
I
on not
have never
doing
heard a
work.
conversation between you two that
Bro,
wasn't directly
some-
like I
Bro,
love you. I love you too.
No,
You're
no,
the
no.
best person in the
She
world.
has
You're the
told
best
me
person in the
multiple
world.
times, can you please do this? She was the one who said package these
Guys,
books.
can we just put a pin on this for a minute? Like, I understand this is going back and forth. Brij is very heated. Zoya is very heated.
I'm
The
not
podcast
heated. I'm just
producer is heated right now.
surprised.
I mean, can
Everybody
this be
is
resolved
surprised.
through therapy? That is
Yeah,
the
the
big
question is, since this is all going on, do you think this would be better resolved
How can
through
we
therapy?
end the conversation here when she just
We're
made
not
a huge
ending
point?
it. We're not ending it. But okay, fine. Go ahead.
It's not about that because oh my god, you know what? Fine. Okay, let me just end it. I'll just say this. Listen, it's not about who did more work. I don't care that I did more work than you. It's about the fact that, first of all, if you had 500 books to pack up, how is it that when I went back into the room, you were already gone and you
But
were
then,
already at
do
the
you
car?
see what you're doing
I don't
now?
know how that's
But
possible.
you're-
No, because you're trying to make it seem like I'm trying to like demonize the family and I'm betraying the family by having this, by calling you out on this thing. And I'm
because
becoming this
why
person who's
are you-
going one-to-one with everybody. But that's not how it is.
Why
I never
are
do
you
that.
so hell-bent on making it seem like you're hell-bent on trying to figure out where I'm lying because nothing is adding
I'm
up
not
to you?
calling you a liar.
No, but
I'm
what are
just
you
sa-
saying then?
I said
I'm telling.
that-
Do you want me to literally? No, because Brij, actually, this is how I feel. This is actually how I feel. Do you want me to literally, line by line, tell you exactly what I did, exactly what I carried up, exactly
B,
at what point Edward
I
said, Zoya,
don't
just sit in the
care.
car?
I
No,
didn't
because
care
you
last
do.
night.
You
I
just
don't.
brought it up.
I told you guys in the beginning of this podcast, I was the first one to say this doesn't need to get brought up. I said it doesn't need to get brought up. I said it doesn't need to get brought up. It's not irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's squashed. It doesn't matter. Last night, I said it was squashed before anyone else did. You didn't say anything to me. I apologize to you for everything. I said this was wrong. I shouldn't have said this to you in this way. You do so much work. You did incredible during the podcast show. I said all of that. You said nothing to me. Not one word. Is that true? Is that true? She said nothing to me. Mom says, do you have anything you want to say to him? You said nothing. Nothing. I left and that was it. I squashed it. I never wanted to bring it up again. You wanted to bring it up today. Not
But
me.
you're clearly harboring it because you
I'm
clearly
not.
think I didn't.
I don't care. I'm only harboring it because you brought it up today. And
Okay.
I'm frustrated because I can't get through a thought without all four of you interrupting me.
I don't even know if this is an episode that can go out. I mean, I think we should just cut this one here. I think today is just not a good day to be doing podcast episodes,
I
honestly.
mean, I think this is going pretty well, Zarna. We should
Everybody
further.
is just so heated and angry, and I don't even know when it became. I understand it was a very, very busy weekend, and we all worked really hard, and we're continuing to work. We can't even take a day off. That's the story of high growth businesses. But like, this is just, I've never seen the two of them fight like this, and Brij seems really angry, and I don't want to put this out there. The whole internet is going to come down on him because social media supports women. That's what it is.
Oh
Social
my god,
media.
it doesn't need to be this coping thing. Oh my god, protect Bridget's feelings. The people are in the comments. It doesn't
I'm
need
not
to be that.
saying.
They're not involved with
There's
this.
nothing I can say to do right by you right now, Brij. There's nothing.
Because-
Everything I'm trying to say is triggering you and making you more upset. I don't know how this is productive.
Okay.
Nobody was trying to interrupt you. You've been so heated since this topic came up. And Zoya, it is true that you never apologized to him. He did. After all was said and done, he walked up to you and said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that way." And you just said, "Thank you." So
But
I
I
think he
didn't
has
feel
some
like
feelings
I
about
needed to
this.
apologize. I feel like I needed to
let it
admit.
go.
But I'm saying to you right now, you did more work than me. But I did not. I would never.
But
in
to
the moment,
end the fight,
but-
what's wrong with just
because
acknowledging-
apologizing for things that you feel like you didn't do anything wrong for means that the apology is not worth it. When I apologized to Brij, I wanted to be like, I take responsibility for what I did. There was nothing I would change about my behavior last night, except for maybe telling Brij these are the things I did, and I cannot physically carry anything more because I don't want to. And there are other men that can do that.
And guess what? Last night I let it go. I squashed it. The only people who kept it on was you and Mom. Other than you two, no one thought about it. I didn't care. I didn't care to bring it up today. I never thought about it when I was sleeping, when I was showering, ever. It would have literally never crossed my mind for the rest of human existence if it wasn't brought up on today's podcast. And I even said at the beginning of the podcast, it shouldn't be brought up.
Okay, so to tie this back to the topic that we're in, do you think this situation here would be better solved with a therapist?
I don't think this is a situation. I just don't think it is.
Do you
the
not see
therapist
how
is-
angry
do you
you are?
not
Do you
see a
see
deeper-
what we are seeing, or do you not see
Yes,
it at all?
I am
You
frustrated.
keep saying that you've moved on, but I don't think you have.
I am frustrated for reasons outside of that argument now. After this podcast, the show must go on. I will never think about this conversation again. Literally ever. I don't care about the situation.
But Bridge,
We
I
were
have a
all
question for
tired.
you. Do you think there is some deeper level of, or Zoya as well, is there a deeper level of anger that you feel with respect to Didi, with respect to the role that she plays, with respect to the business that your mother is in? Because it
Literally
feels
not at
like it's not
all.
about just this fight.
What? No. I literally couldn't care at all.
Okay, all right. So then there is nothing to be solved by therapists. It's just one operational item, Zarna. It just happened, and both people just want to move on from it. I think.
I don't know if it's that simple.
I've
Seriously-
moved on. I'll say it again on this podcast. I am so sorry for everything.
Veer, do you think that
100%? I have 100% moved on. I was moved on last night. I'm even more moved on now. Sorry. And I mean it. I'm not even just saying that. I'm very, very sorry.
I'm so excited to share that this episode has been brought to you by the Golden Gate Sleep Centers in the Bay Area. This is a group of physicians that help people diagnose and treat sleep apnea. Do you know what sleep apnea is? Sleep apnea is when you don't sleep well at night, you keep waking up, you don't know why, or you sleep and you wake up and you're not rested. It can strike anybody anywhere. It's particularly striking South Asians. And this medical practice, Golden Gate Sleep Centers, is doing so much work in spreading awareness and treating this disease that can be fatal, by the way. They take all kinds of insurance, they take Medicare, they take Medi-Cal. They're trying to bring everybody who needs help in. If you feel your sleep is disrupted, you need to make a call to them right now, goldengatesleepcenters.com. And if you use the code ZARNA, you're going to get some free stuff. You're going to get a free CPAP mask. And believe me, those masks, you're going to need them. And you're going to sleep like a baby after a long time. Don't delay. Get this done right now.
I think this argument is very unnecessary because I think generally we're a family who's been like, we will do anything for each other. I know times that I've literally made insane messes while I was kids and they've cleaned it up for me. And I know times that Baya's left my room insanely messy and I've cleaned up after him.
Oh my
I feel
God,
like,
we're not getting into that now, Brit. Are you seriously
chill,
going to see an
chill,
opportunity for
chill.
you to
I'm
like,
kidding.
get in?
I was joking. But still, we always do things for each other as siblings. And I think Didi, I think you should accept Baya's apology as he said it was sincere. And I think that we should try and move on from this because we all agree that we would do anything for each other. And that's what's important.
I do accept your apology. I accepted your apology last night. I am glad we talked about it because I really didn't know that was how you felt. Like, I actually am. Like, I didn't realize. No. I am, like, happy we talked about it. And what I am sorry about, which I am sorry about this, I'm sorry that I maybe didn't do a good enough job at being so grateful that you did so much of the heavy lifting yesterday. Like, you did do so much of the heavy lifting. You handled the sweatshirts. You handled packing them. I'm also very grateful that you didn't leave last night. Like, I know that you wanted to go and leave so that you had a really busy morning this morning and you wanted to take some time so that you could have time last night, and you stayed because you didn't want me to be alone so Veer could focus on his SHSAT prep. Like, I am very grateful that you stayed. Like, you didn't have to do that, and I know you did that for me. And I think generally when you're trying to just like, it's just so much work. And I think one thing that's really annoying about family businesses is like distilling credit is really hard, right? Like, ultimately the people that came to the show yesterday, all they're going to remember is that Zarna had an amazing performance, but people don't know what went into it and how exhausting it is. And to constantly be doing this backbreaking work without any recognition except for what's happening in our family is so hard.
Oh, hold on. Zoya, can you repeat that last point? That point didn't seem related to the rest of it.
It is related because it's like every person, there were maybe thousands of people that came by West Side Comedy Club as well as Irvine Improv, right? And even though we did do shows together, which were awesome and very successful, but most of what people will remember is Zarna is so talented and her family is so supportive. But really what was happening behind the scenes is her kids were working backbreaking jobs, literally selling book after book with very little credit. Now, I think what could have changed in my behavior... Can I finish?
Yeah.
No, actually.
Finish.
I get it. I get why Brij is frustrated. Because it's like, I don't need a reaction right now. Like, what's actually really frustrating is if we as a family, and specifically if me and Brij and Veer do not assign credit to one another when we're doing work, we will not receive any of that credit. We will not receive any of that feedback. And it's really hard to keep going. So like with Brij and like seeing all those sweatshirts, like I understand, because half the reason why he is exhaustingly trying to explain everything he did is nobody is seeming to give him, including myself, was giving him the credit that he deserves for that insane amount of work. Like people don't understand, like thousands of sweatshirts, categorizing the colors, making sure that the ones that are ruined because they fell on the ground are taken out, making sure every box is labeled, making sure that box is carried up the stairs and into the car. It's crazy. And so I think like where this relates to therapy is like, we just had a severe moment of feelings, right? Like I wouldn't call it an argument. I would just call it like a heated experience, which clearly like we all had different moments in. And we didn't solve it with a therapist, but we did solve it by A, talking to each other, and B, believing the best out of what everybody was trying to say.
Yes, and I definitely had no idea of all the background work that either of you were doing. And and I am very grateful that you guys are supporting my business. I'm fully, do you or do you not believe that I'm fully mindful that I'm the one who gets all the limelight right now, and I'm trying really hard to balance it. I'm trying really hard so people can see the work that you guys do. And I'm very, very grateful that I had you. We had 2 intense weekends back to back, 10 shows in Irvine, 9 shows in New York. That was a lot of work. And today we are working. We got up and we had to get up early and shoot podcast episodes. That is what it takes to build a business at this scale. So I'm very grateful. And if I haven't said it yet, I'm very sorry that it's set up in the way that it is. But it's the only way until it grows. So sorry about that. And I think, I don't know what a therapist would have added to this, because I've never been to therapy. I went to one session and I left in 10 minutes. So I'm clearly not the
What did
person
you
to
not like
speak.
about it in the 10 minutes?
It just felt, oh my God, it felt so forced. The person, let's go back to your childhood. I was like, dude, I will die before anything resolves with this person. Maybe it was the wrong person, and maybe it was the wrong whatever. And maybe I'm not emotionally mature enough to handle it. I might not be, because I also can't handle yoga and all those moments of silence, and all of that trips me up. It makes me really crazy. So I to bring it back to this topic, I don't know what a therapist would add. I'm sure there will be people who are watching who can tell us in comment section how they can make this all better. But I did want to say that I do see that what you guys are doing, and I'm it's destiny has brought 5 of us here, and we're trying to figure out our way
Also,
out of it.
in a talent business, there's generally the person who is the carrying the talent ends up does getting the limelight, which in this case is your mother. But everyone else benefits directly as well. In other words, this amazing life that we all get to live is a result of each of the person's involves effort. In other words, the meals, the travel, the home that we live in. So they may not be sort of you did such a good job from the audience involved because they only get to see your mother, but we all benefit from that effort, right? Directly. You know what I'm saying?
It's just hard, like, to be honest, it's hard to hear. Like, I don't think you understand what we're talking about because you've never been involved in this part of the business. Would you say that's true?
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain specifically what this is in a way that will make sense in the context of what you're saying, which is true.
Well, it is a backbreaking, uncelebrated part of the job. See, people think, this is why people, when they're like, oh, they're Nepo babies, they have no clue what's going on. These kids are doing the heaviest lifting of the job. A Nepo baby steps in and does the easy stuff and rides on their parents' coattails. But in opposite reversal of destiny and fate, these kids are actually building the scaffolding on which I get to stand. The people don't know that. The public doesn't get to see that, right? They just think these kids look good. They're wearing a nice dress, so this must be easy for them. What they don't see is all the drag that they get put through, all the hell that they get put through in real life. So it's a whole. Listen, building a family business, it's not easy, and building a family business that the whole world has eyes on is even more complicated. And today was like an unreal episode. Like, it started with therapy. It started with will it help, won't it help? And I don't know what this has become, but as our audience knows, we like to keep it very real. Brij, you still seem upset.
I'm not upset.
Does anybody think he's not upset?
I think he's not upset. He's just processing.
What does
Yeah.
that mean?
I think there's
Yeah.
a difference between feeling upset and being emotional.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
What?
I like
What's
that.
the
That's
difference?
true.
I don't think he's upset. I think he just feels emotions like a
So
human.
when I feel emotions, why are you guys always telling me that, like, Mom, you're overreacting?
Oh my god.
Because you are
Because-
Because
overreacting.
you don't feel emotions, you get upset.
What are you talking about, please?
Your emotions are frustration, madness, anger. You're like red from inside out.
Scary dog.
What are you talking? You know what? You have too many opinions for your age, and
what they used to
Oh
say
my
to
god,
you.
that sounded very ageist, Zarna.
Oh. Okay. Guys, I cannot. This episode has already spiraled out of control in 10 different ways. I hope that. Just tell us what you guys think. To all our listeners, all our viewers, tell us what you think, because maybe you can unravel this ball of mess for us. And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, so too we're going to end this episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, where each Garg assigns another Garg an A grade for the winning moment of the episode. And I don't even know what's going to happen with this one. For the first time, we've filmed over 80 episodes, and for the first time, I'm not sure what's going to happen at all. But let's go with it. Does anybody want to assign anybody an A grade?
I'm going to assign the A grade to Veer to be safe. And that is for his last comment on the fact that his mother is, not emotional. She's just always angry.
Oh, okay, great. Somehow I'm the villain. Fine. Who else wants to assign an A grade?
I'm going to give my A grade to Brij. Thank you for having that conversation with me. I hope that you can understand where I was coming from too, and know that I understand how much work you did yesterday. And I didn't mean to bring it up in the context of you being some villain. I meant it in the context of how can we move on from this and actually move on from it. Going forward, when we have those moments where we're exhausted, I will do a better job of communicating what I can and cannot do. And maybe we can do a better job of actually just working within those bounds in a way that also makes sense and you're not overextending yourself, which I felt like you were totally stretched thin yesterday.
Brij, you have something to say, or you don't want to say anything?
Thank you. I think I'm going to assign my A grade to Veer. I thought he did a great job of explaining his stance, especially as a bystander. I think that generally, the more we go on and on, I find that I'm fitting out of this family more and more. It's so hard for me to
Yeah, we're gonna end this episode here. You guys can feel free to tell us whatever you think, and until we meet again. Bye.
Bye.